So, it's finally time to explore the second main area of the game, or start to, at least. As for how it goes, it starts off pretty bad. After chatting with my bold friend again, who reminds me I'm supposed to look for a glintstone key to get into Raya Lucaria, I explore a bit of the surrounding area and stumble upon a graveyard. When I get murdered the first time, I just assume I wasn't paying enough attention because I had just started playing, but when going back, I discovered that this is actually the sturdiest skeleton I've encountered yet. It's a bit humbling, to be honest, but eventually I managed to kill everyone, and I am rewarded with a fucking warming stone. It's okay though, because in the bottom part of the graveyard I actually find something nice, an academy scroll, which I assume I can bring to a sorcerer, like my bold friend. Not that I care about sorceries, but I then start to move down towards the big lake and clear a soldier camp with my spirit jellyfish friend. We find some crafting recipes, and a bit below there's a grace and a merchant who sells sorcerer armor, which I buy because I want to have everything. I do not like how it looks though, unfortunately. So first things first, let's get the map. Guarding it, there's these creepy crawling guys that look like spiders. The map is Liurna Est and shows more of the land on the right of the lake rather than the actual lake. Near there, I also spot a dude on a horse, and I'm not 100% on this, but I think these guys have 4 arms. I find a grace in the ruins, but since the map shows me east, I decide to explore there first. Going in that direction, I spot my blind friend again, who still wants eyeballs to snack on, and near her my personal nightmare, a crab. To be fair, it's more like a lobster. The fight was going okay until the lobster decides to just snipe me with his pit, and of course I have to go back, and this time I managed to survive. Then I decide I want to explore the bottom part of the lake first. There's big eggs around, nothing much. I don't even know why I decided to kill them, but then I spot some jellyfish that lead the way to a cave. The cave is called Stillwater Cave, and it's a poison cave full of flowers and mushroom people. There's not too much of note about it, besides the fact that I stupidly decide to go from the bottom and try to burn all the flowers, which eventually leads to me finishing my mana and dying. It's okay though, because from my exploration, I get a bunch of runes and the sage outfit, which I also don't like. I stay on the top part the second time, making my way to my runes and eventually to the boss, and I still have some flasks left. The boss is called Clean Rot Knight, and I honestly just kind of bully him, as you can see from this fight. I'm not good or anything, I just learned the idea of attacking first and thinking later. The talisman he drops talks about the knights that fought alongside Malenia, the Severed, who is apparently represented by wings. I guess we can keep that in mind for Melinia's symbolism. It also reads, she never knew relief from the accursed rot she was born into. So, lore moment then, let's keep exploring around Liurna East. I decide to yeet myself up a hill, best mechanic of the game, and farm some runes to level up. After doing that, I'm putting points in Valor, by the way. The instinct to perimeter takes over, and I go backwards down the road, at the end of which I find an angry giant who seems to have broken free from his chains. So sorry, comrade, I have to kill you. He seems to have been transporting this carriage with inside a tree spear, which seems a very cool weapon to me actually. I do wonder where they were planning to go with this carriage though, or where they came from. unsure. After that, I start going north from the grace and fight some mannequins with many arms. Eventually, I decide to go downhill towards where my blind friend, not to be confused with my bald friend, was hanging out, and I wipe the purified ruins. In the basement, I find an amulet that raises faith, and unsurprisingly, a shabriri grape. Of course, I go give it to my friend, who then promptly disappears from the location. In some ruins near there, I spot a teleport and decide to go take a look-see. It brings me to what looks like the entrance to Raya Lucaria itself, and as foreshadowed, I am told I cannot enter without a glintstone key. I do find a meeting place map too, though, which seems to point to where to find the glintstone keys. I don't really want to be here though, right now, so I go back east. I notice there's a path on the east side that is lower down, and then spot a sword cemetery with a message that talks about Melinia's southward march with her clean rot knights. From a new grace, I could go down, which seems to be the way forwards in a way, and I can go down in the eastern lower part I saw before, following a statue pointing to a dungeon. On the way, I make my first encounter, I think, with the tiny people who live in bushes, not to be confused with the monkey people who live as bushes. I get to the cave, the cliff bottom catacombs, and initially I try to use my new spell Lightning Strike. I don't really get how it works, and also a cave does not seem like the right environment for lighting anyway. This is a gargoyle cave, and it seems to me that gargoyles have become sturdier. It's actually quite a difficult dungeon to get through, with a lot of gargoyles, traps, and even big guys with saws. Even though I am very careful and slow, or maybe because I'm too careful and too slow, I end up dying after finishing all my flasks, like halfway through the dungeon. The second time around, I find a BDSM silver helmet I will not be using, and I develop a new, very effective technique to deal with the gargoyles. Please observe. Awesome, right? I managed to get my runes back and find the site, but I go in a bit of panic and basically I kill myself. Third time's the charm, and after cleaning the dungeons with my new awesome technique and running around aimlessly for a bit, I do eventually decide to drop down to the bottom and actually find the way to the lever, and the page ashes. The boss is a catgoyle, and the first time around I do die pathetically, which prompts me to consider putting some clothes with a bit of magic defense. It is unfortunate that the sage outfit sucks, but I do manage to get a somewhat acceptable look, kind of. I also equip my new dragon head weapon to try it out and, you know, flame smack the catgoyle to death, enjoy the fight. From it, I get the ashes of a horse guy. Anyway, that's the cave done, so I only have to perimeter this area before moving on to other things. I do find some smithing stones and try out some of my new weapons, and I do really like this spear I found. I'm still unhappy with my look, but I really don't like the astrologer's white cape thing, so I try to go to Bach to see what's the modification I can do. Fortunately enough, Bach gets rid of the white robe, so I actually like the cape now, and this is the final look I'm going with at the moment. As for where to go next, I don't want to go straight down because the road seems to lead to Raya Lucaria, and I'd like to explore around a bit more. So instead, I go uphill on the left and clear a soldier camp, taking care of the mage sniping me first. The special attack from the dragon hand seems to have potential, but at the same time I never seem to hit anyone with it, so, I remain unconvinced. Near the camp I find a flower called miquella's lily, which apparently signifies faith in the halig tree and was beloved by the Empyrean miquella in his youth. So, you remember the topic of characters having the same names that I said last time? Obviously, this now also applies to miquella, melina, and malenia. And besides that, we also have the earth tree and now the halig tree. I just hope the two names refer to the same thing, but I vaguely remember yet another name being used at some point, so I'm not sure at all. In any case, this miquella seems to be a man, so that's helpful. I decide to jump across the right side of the road, and thankfully I make it. Then I start a long fight against a million wolves that live in these parts, eventually making my way north until I encounter a crab, my natural enemy. Thankfully, he's not strong. Unfortunately, it seems like my actual natural enemy is myself, as I dive to my death in a very stupid way, forcing me to run back to my runes, this time ignoring the million wolves on the way, and the crab. I'm making my way towards a tower of some sort, when the beast eye quivers, and I stumble upon a boat guy fight. I'll save you the time of watching this one, but if you must know, I almost died. Not because of the boat guy, but because of his stupid skeletons and my ineptitude with my new dragon weapon. I make it in the end, and I get some death root and the skeletal bandit ashes. There's not much of interest in the area besides a suspicious hole in the ground. I wonder if my vase friend was here at some point. I have a bunch of runes now, so obviously I make the logical decision to throw all caution to the wind and get murdered by this lightning soldier. That's awesome. So I run all the way back again, but I'm honestly done with my stupid dragon fist. And with my new nice spear, I quickly manage to kill Lightning Guy, get his Dragon Cult prayer book, and also kill some skeletons near there. I noticed that even though I was using the Golden Vow effect, the skeletons still respond. So I'm a bit confused because I was sure Fate Magic would make them not respawn. But it seems I've misunderstood something. In any case, I finally get to a grace with a nice painting and can safely level up and move on. And tune in next time as we continue exploring Liurnia East and see where the journey brings us. Updates are gonna be kind of slow because I'm going away again and won't have time to play for a bit, but I'm still not giving up. See you next time.